Hello all. Welcome to For the Love of the Game Cricket Podcast. Advanced Happy New Year to everyone because it is being shot on 31st December 2023. So, the last day of the year. So, hopefully, everyone had a nice year and going ahead with some good memories, nice memories. And cricketing wise, also, I think it was a pretty eventful year. Like, we had the World Cup and all these things, and like various things from an Indian cricket fan point of view, it was maybe a year of lost opportunities. We came very close like few times and but didn't quite get over the finishing line. So hoping things change in 2024. We have the T20 World Cup and also like this series going on between India South Africa. One test still remaining. We have the chance to draw the series. So we basically today we are going to talk about the last test match and the upcoming test match in Cape Town in the new year. So overall, it was not a great start for India. So we ended the year on a bit of a disappointing note. It was a bit of an embarrassing defeat, to be honest. And like I think there are many points to talk about here. So basically, so if we can just go step by step, first of all, like maybe you can start with the toss. How big was toss a factor? Maybe you can go ahead, Prakash. You were telling about this. Yeah.
See, the toss was a massive factor in this whole game. But like I told you guys when we were off air, considering how we bowled in the first innings, I don't think we would have made the same use, or at least that's what the evidence the bowling attack gave us.
Right.
And there is another distinct thing I'll say, and then we'll push it to Pranav, is every time South African bowlers came to bowl, the pitch suddenly came alive when our bowlers bowled, except Bumrah and Ashwin also. But
Right.
Ashwin's job in the first innings is not that of a wicket taking, more of holding an end up. So yes, it was a big factor, but I don't know if he would have made the same use of it the way South Africans did.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Pranav, on the toss factor and everything?
I think with the weather around, it was a 50-50 call. To either bowl first or bat first. But Centurion typically is a bat first wicket. And
Right.
I mean, before I go further, New Year greetings to everybody. Thanks for all the support that you have given us through this year, and I hope you continue that support so that we keep on doing this more. So, coming back to what I was saying, it's a 50-50 call, and I think if you look at it in hindsight, South African bowlers use the seam more, and specifically if you pick uh, any bowlers like Prasidh Krishna for what he was picked for his height and hit the deck factor, he actually tried to pitch it up, which is not his natural length, and that's the reason why we went for a lot of runs. Uh, so in our preview series or series preview episode, I did say that it'll be a competition or a series between the two bowling attacks, right? And that's how it exactly turned out because we were not competent enough with the ball. Leave aside with the bat because I must say it was a difficult pitch to bat on with the weather conditions around. And the way Shreyas, Kohli, and Rahul and a little bit of Shardul and Siraj batted, there were positives definitely, but uh, hats off to KL Rahul for pulling out that 100. That's a separate topic that we need to discuss on. But the toss played, I don't think, a very major role depending on how you would have to the conditions because I can surely say it's not a 400 wicket.
Right.
And we gave away 400 runs. That's how harsh I can be on the board.
Yeah. So now, like, if we go into the details of why we gave away, say, 400 runs, I think if you look at, say, Bumrah and Siraj open the bowling, they were pretty. Bumrah is obviously sensational, but like, I think Siraj also was pretty okay, matlab, not being extraordinary, but he did a decent job, not that bad a job. I think the main issue came with the change bowlers, right? Prasidh Krishna and Shardul
Yeah.
Thakur. That's why the runs kept flowing and the pressure was kind of released and everything kind of flew away. So I think so. How do India like tackle that scenario? Because in the second test also, this I think Avesh Khan has been added to the squad. Apart from that, it's the same thing. So how do you think do you play the same team next game or what changes do you think you're gonna make? I think Jadeja might come back. I saw him practicing in the
Yeah.
nets with the video posted.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jadeja will come back for Shardul. And I must say this with a lot of conviction that Shardul's time is up. I mean, he's been given a lot of run. I know that he won a series in Australia and all sorts of things, but now with the Ranji Trophy around and you have 5 England tests at home, he's definitely not needed. So you can send him back to the Ranji Trophy ask him to bowl on green tops, get his line and length right and there's no one better than people at the Mumbai Cricket Association to guide him as to what lengths to bowl where. And I did post this on X as well that Shardul is a long-term prospect. I don't disagree with that, but his primary job with the ball is to control the flow of runs and not to go for hits. And I think the way Dhoni understands him, nobody else understands, and that's the problem, right? He can think of himself as a wicket taker, which he probably does sometimes. I know I'm being a little too harsh, but that's how it is because the way he bowled those driving lengths in South Africa, it's not the length to bowl. It's like you push
Right.
it back. I know he took a 7-4 in Johannesburg in the last tour, but I don't think he's yet that potent with the ball. With the bat, he put on a good partnership with KL Rahul. But with the ball, I think he needs to go back to the drawing board and correct his length. So Shardul will be making way for Jadeja, and I think Prasidh Krishna will also make way for somebody like Mukesh Kumar because if you observe with Rabada or maybe Nandeberger as well, they were hitting the seam more. It was not swing movement that was troubling the batters. So the pitch had, if you look at the pitch had decent bit of grass covering, and our ex people or cricket Twitter community went bonkers that they left grass. So the grass basically helps the seam bowlers more than the swing bowlers. So probably you try and find the movement through the air, which is Shardul's natural variation, I'd say. But here, Rabada and Berger and to an extent Marco Janssen as well got the movement through the seam. And Mukesh Kumar is some potent bowler who can get movement off the seam because he holds the seam upright. Even if you look at his Delhi Capitals stint and you break it through, he tries to get the ball through the seam. And Mohammad Shami does that so well. And that's where we're missing, obviously. But I think Mukesh Kumar could be a potential replacement. So you play Jadeja, Ashwin, and Bumrah, Siraj, and Mukesh. I think that gives you more control with the ball. And I'd urge Rohit Sharma to use Ashwin more because the way he bowled at the MCG in the last tour, you could understand even in the test match the way he bowled. Had Rahul caught Jansen, I don't think they would have got to that lead. I mean, of course, I'm talking in hindsight, but it's difficult to keep the spinners. But had Gill taken that catch of Kodzier, so even fielding let us down a little bit. But I think this is the potential lineup that's going to play because Capetown generally tends to slow down a bit. So it's assistive for spinners. So you don't mind playing two spinners, but you would not bowl Jadeja a lot as much as you would want to bowl Ashwin, if that sense. So three fast bowlers, two spinners, eight batters you're getting, eight potential batters you're getting. So I think that makes perfect sense. Avesh Khan, yes, he picked up a 5-4, but he'll have to wait for his chances. Maybe in Australia he can.
Yeah, I agree with you on the team you selected. Given the resources we have currently, ideally you would want instead of two spinners, one great spinner like say Ashwin and another like a bit of a pace bowling all rounder in the ranks. But I don't think we have that currently with Hardik Pandya and everyone not in the picture. So I think that's the like most closest team you can pick with Jadeja and Ashwin together. But anyway, so Prakash, what's your thoughts on the next test team? Like any changes or what are your thoughts?
Before we get into that, there's one thing I would like to also add. When Pranav says they were hitting the seam, I'm glad finally somebody in the commentary box is coming and talking about the wobble ball. This
Yeah.
wobble ball was also used a lot. And if you heard Hashim Amla speak, he said one thing very clearly that when the ball swings, a batsman can counter it. The eyes and the cues are there to pick it up.
Correct.
The thing
Yeah.
with this wobble ball is nobody knows what will happen. It's like a spinner on a third day, fourth day in India when we say natural variation. Because if the ball lands on the seam, it can. If you notice Siraj's massive in cutter, that's a wobble ball. So
Yeah.
the whole thesis of how this wobble ball began was with Stuart Clark. a bowler from Australia. I don't know if you remember him. He took
Yes.
50 wickets in
The
like
tall,
9 tests.
tall
Then
fast
Mohammad
bowler.
yes. Then Mohammad Asif learns this wobble ball from him. He goes to county cricket in England. The counties make a video of this. Jimmy Anderson learns this, and then this knowledge is slowly passed down. But the problem with the commentators at that point of time, they didn't know what it was. It's only now that people are coming into the commentary box and this thing. Batsmen like Hashim Amla are telling you that there's no time because you don't know what the ball will do. One ball can come this high, one ball can come this high. So they utilize that much better than us. Now, coming back to the second test team, I don't see two spinners playing. I don't think two spinners will play, and Wanderers always has something. I remember a spell that Philander bowled to Virat the last time we were, no, in 2018. He kept taking the ball. I think it was on the third day or on the fourth day. India were chasing the total, and Kohli was very well set. Philander 3 overs, he kept taking the ball away from Kohli, and then suddenly one ball comes back in. Philander didn't even turn around to appeal to the umpire. He went straight to the slips. Umpire lifts his hand. On the fourth day or third day, towards the end, this happened. So Wanderers will also do something, and especially if India are going, they're going to give, don't expect anything but a green top.
Yeah. I think the match is
Well,
in
on,
Newlands, right?
on that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's in Newland. So I think on the same test match, Bhuvneshwar Kumar got AB de Villiers
5-1. Yes.
That
through
yeah,
that
I remember that.
through the gate, and he
Yeah.
also got Faf du Plessis through the outswinger. So that's how, right? I mean, it's not about the swing. It's just about using the pace or the pitch. And when you're talking about the wobble seam ball, I think nobody better than Mohammad Siraj uses the wobble ball these days in India. And Shardul has also got that 3/4 seam delivery, but he did not use it a lot because I think it has a lot to do with the think tank that's sitting out. Because you realize that, and this has been discussed a lot, that since Bharat Arun has left, I mean, our fast bowling attack has somehow gone down by its standards. And the reason why I picked or why I said two spinners will play is because you can trust Jadeja's batting. And I'm not saying Ashwin is not a potent batter, but Ashwin is a better bowler than
Right.
Jadeja. So, you can't combine both. So you have to play both. And with Mukesh Kumar, you get that control. I know he has only played one test match, but the way he bowls, that seam he hits upright. And if he does that consistently, you can trouble most of the batters because the problem is India just doesn't know how to bowl to Dean Elgar. And if you go back to how Australia bowled to him, how England bowled to him, even New Zealand bowled to him, they got Neil Wagner or they got Pat Cummins, they got Mitchell Stark, they got Stuart Broad to bowl around the wicket, middle stump line or middle stump leg stump line with a leg slip, the short leg, and the keeper standing at the middle stump. So what you basically do is you bowl that 6 to 8 meter length, bowl some full end deliveries, and making play. So just like how he fended off to KL Rahul after scoring 170 off. That's how you get him out. I mean, I did not see, and I don't know what the video analysts are doing because I did not see a lot of people bowling around the wicket to Dean Elgar, and that's been the strategy. I mean, you go around the wicket tucking up for room, but instead what Shardul and Prasid did was fend him outside off, and that's bread and butter for him. So you basically devise out strategies to pull out the batters, but they did not. And hence why I had to pick that team because in test matches, control and pressure and dot balls actually create wickets, which we did not do in the first innings. So basically, with the side I picked, it's not about two spinners. It's about covering for the batting and the bowling, which is unfortunate at the moment, but that is how it is.
I know you're right. I agree. But here's a counter to your team. What if you lose the toss and you have to bowl first? You will bowl 3 fast bowlers into the ground. That is what we keep doing every year. 1-2 test matches we keep doing, and we get ourselves into trouble. That is my only issue. I have no issue with playing two spinners if they are going to bowl in the second innings, but we don't get to decide that before the toss, right?
I mean, then you'll have to play Prasidh, and I don't mind with that
I
strategy.
think
But
I
when
also think Avesh Khan is more suited to this format than to, I don't know why he keeps getting picked in T20s.
I mean, I sort of agree because Avesh has a lot of first class credentials to his name. Uh, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jadeja swapped for Ashwin and
That
Nitish
makes
Kumar
a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Shardul Thakur. But then you
That
have
I
a leaner
agree.
batting lineup because
Yes, you're right.
you're batting at 7 that's over. So KL Rahul
You'll
has
have
more
four
or
number
less.
11s. You'll have four number 11s basically if you pick four fast bowlers.
Yeah, I think
But
the
I think
main
that's
yeah,
where
yeah, I think the main issue is like we are trying to find out a batting bowling all rounder kind of a thing in place of say two
that's where
spinners. That's what we are missing.
yeah,
So we are kind of in the that Shardul
that's
Thakur place is the main problem area, I think.
yeah
Yeah.
Correct.
that's where Shardul Thakur is actually edging out the others despite his not having a lot of skills on that front. But
But
I seriously don't think that Shardul deserves a go because he has got a lot of chances. Of course, in England he scored that Blitzkrieg 50 and in an absolute moving surface and all those things. He is a batter who can bowl, and I think with him coming back to CSK, you can see that he would be used. I don't know how he'll be used because if you look at him as a T20 bowler, I don't know if he gives you 4 overs because his I I'm not sure how he's going to be used, but his natural variation is to swing the ball. So if the ball is moving, he's an absolute go-to person. But if the ball is not moving and you need flow, you need to stop the flow of runs. He's not the person to go to. And that is where I think Rohit missed the trick. He could have bought Ashwin as the first change with Elgar on the crease. So we were beaten tactically and we were beaten man to man. I think that's where we lost. And I repeat, this series will be a competition between the two fast bowling units. There are no two ways about it.
Yeah.
there is one thing I want to highlight before about the opposition, and it's KG Rabada. This guy has the best strike rate in Test cricket for a bowler who's taken over 150 wickets. Now, the reason I say 150 is because there's a person who comes into the classification. So he beats Bakar Yunis, he beats Dale Steyn, and he beats another English bowler from the early 1900s called SF Barnes, who
Okay.
is an enigma. You have no. We can do a show about SF Barnes later because he was a tall leg spinner. Some people say he bowled cutters. He's probably the one guy who started all these changes of pace, but he was quick. He took, if my memory serves me right, in 27 test matches, 168 wickets. Rabada has a better strike rate than him. Imagine that. Now let's take this one step further. And this information I saw on a podcast of Gerard Kimbert. Shout out to him. He does these brilliant analysis. If you take Rabada at home and compare him to the second best bowler in the world who took wickets at home, who is Waqar Yunis. Waqar Yunis took his wickets, I think, at, if I'm not wrong, between 40 and 42 balls per wicket. Doing it in Pakistan, which is the most flattest deck on this earth, right? Which is an achievement on its own. Rabada beats him. He is doing it in every 34 balls. Agreed, in helpful conditions. But this rate of striking is madness. It's a pity that South Africa don't play more Test cricket. This guy will not be able to go and climb the heights that he's supposed to. This guy is incredible. The ball he bowled to Rohit in the second innings, I don't think Don Bradman could lay pat on it. The one that he bowled to Kohli in the first innings, many people on Twitter said, oh, he could have done this. I don't think anybody, a set batsman, and especially a batsman from the subcontinent who likes to feel bat on ball every time, he's playing that ball. Maybe an Englishman could leave that ball, but that Englishman who leaves that ball today is not in the team because of Bazball. Right? So and the one that Shreyesh Iyer got in the first innings, that one big in dipper came and hit, that was a wobble ball. You can't play those deliveries, yeah. So yes, where I agree that what was in our hands tactically and a lot of other things, we messed up. But when you have a guy bowling like this, you've got to tip your hat to him. What a spell of bowling.
Yeah.
Dean Elgar, I had spoken of on the previous episode that this guy is a legend. He proved to us. But again, our tactics were, I agree with Pranav that even with Travis Head in the WTC finals, our tactics were poor. So,
And I think that's where the score of 245 was brilliant. I mean, hats off to KL Rahul, and we have not spoken enough of him as a wicket keeper to adapt, to actually hold off one end. You know, I think the shot of, was it Rabada over covers for six?
yes, it was
I think
Rabada.
that was the shot of the test match. You played 100 times on a moving wicket. You just scoop Rabada off over covers for six. That's the shot of the test match. Huge shout out to KL Rahul to actually come adapt in the middle order. It's not something that he has not done before. He has played a couple of test matches in the middle order, but to keep off the moving ball, to get used to that movement of feet, because when the ball is moving around, it's not easy to keep. It's even more difficult than keeping to spinners. So probably hats off to him. And I think 245 was a potent score, and that's where I'm upset with India's bowling, because when you get to 245 from 24 for 3, that's a massive gap. I mean, from 24 for 3, if you look at it, had the wickets continued to fall, credit to Kohli and Shreyas for actually pausing that, the first session after match. Had the wickets fall down, we could have been bowled out for 150 and the lead could have been over 200 and the match could have been over in the first session of the third day. So 245 is a score, and I remember this very clearly that Vernon Philander on air mentioned this, that had, will if India bowl half decently as South Africa bowled, they could get South Africa under 200. And that's a massive statement, right? Because you have a potent bowling attack. I'm not saying that the bowling attack that we fielded was absolutely horrible. Absolutely not. In fact, this is a lucky bowling attack because you had Jadeja with a back spasm. You got Ashwin. I mean, that's more of a like to like replacement. Of course, you could talk about matchups with the left arm spinner and stuff. But Ashwin did bowl beautifully. So that's where the team let us down as fans, because 245, if you get a score elsewhere, you could have made a match out of that, because 245 in first innings, and even if you concede a 50-run lead, I would take it with both hands, because that's not a massive lead, because you're even Stevens. Even when this after the second day when the rains came down, I thought it was even Stevens, because we had got two quick wickets of, I think was it Bendingham and Verena.
Yeah.
Defended one of Prasid Krishna to give him his first wicket. I think it was still even Stevens. So in test matches, I've been saying this, winning small moments matter. And I think you take test matches not by sessions but by hours. And if you can put this as a shot, I don't know how many of you will agree, because winning each hour is the key. And when we did not pick wickets in the first hour, I think that was the test match for us, because we were looking at a bigger target in front of Rabada and Andre Berger and likes of Ponzi and Johnson. So such a big bowling attack, and the batting order, bowling not helping. It was just a matter of time that we lost by an innings and 32. I expected it to be more, but innings and 32 is still fine.
What makes it worse is Bahuma was injured. He didn't even bat.
Yeah,
That
he didn't
makes
even
it.
field 11.
Yeah, so we were effectively playing with 9 wickets that they had. That makes it
Yeah, I mean,
more sad.
everybody got partnerships, right? That's the problem. And if you have somebody like a David Bellingham coming and pulling Prashant Krishna off the mid wicket for a six, I don't understand why was that length being bowled to him. When I don't know, because I really don't know what's the strategy behind getting Shardul for a spell after lunch. Like why? That's the point, right? I mean, you release the pressure that was created just after lunch. I mean, like I said, every session you have to start fresh. That's the reason why you're given breaks.
Right.
And Bumrah was off bowling for 6-7 overs and then a 40-minute lunch. I think that's enough to recuperate. Then you have somebody like Shardul bowling to Elgar, and he keeps on driving through the covers and extra cover region for fours. That pressure is gone. So that's what tactically we were horrible, and you deserve to lose a test match. I mean,
Yeah.
it's about winning those small phases of the game where you keep seizing the momentum towards you and win the test match. I don't have to tell this to everybody, but test match is a game of skill and tactics. It's not T20 where one over changes the game. It's about winning phases, and dot balls create pressure. I don't understand test match as much as Prakash does because he's been watching the game for a long time. But as much as I understand, winning small key phases wins your test matches. And
I think this is
when you
where I
lose
think
that
someone,
badly,
yeah,
you
I
can't
think
come back.
someone like Ishant Sharma, I think, played a massive role, being that
Yeah,
that
I mean,
economical kind of a like keeping the dot balls and pressure
yeah,
up when the Bumrahs and Shamis can pick the wickets from the other end. I think that's where
yeah.
I think we miss someone experienced as him. I think this bowling attack will be in transition for a bit of a time because we have got new people coming in. Prasidh Krishna. Also, Siraj is not that experienced. Like he has got like Pfeiffer in Australia and MCG and all these places, I think. But like I think we need to be a bit patient with the bowling attack. I think they need proper guidance as well. And I think I won't mind if Prasidh Krishna is given another test match. I feel that people learn, he's learning on the job kind of a thing. He has not had that much of first class experience as well. But I
I'll
think,
just tell you
yeah,
something before we wrap this up. So in 2018-19, after the first session we bowled in Perth. I think was it the second innings or something. We lost that test match obviously, but after the first innings or after the first session we bowled horribly badly. I think we leaked out 100 or 110 runs or something. And this is courtesy to Bharat Ramraj who actually told me this story. Bharat Arun went on to the fast bowlers and told them, keep your, don't give them driving lengths. And that is when they pushed the lengths back and we got back into the test match. Forget about the selection calls that they wanted to leave the other, etc., etc. But that is where the think tank should come in. And I completely agree with what Bharat said. You can refer to the tweet on my feed that Paras Wambare has been lacking in that front. And contrary to that, when Sanjay Bangar was there, our batting was lacking. Now even our tail can bat. So Vikram Rathore has been a big positive, but Paras Wambare has been a big letdown, I must say.
On your point, I want to make, since you brought up Bharat Arun's name, he had the time between 2018 and 2023.
2014 and 2022. So he
2020.
worked right from 2014 when Shastri was the director of the team,
Right.
and then paused for a while when Kumble came, and then fiasco happened, and then he came back again. So
So
yeah, I mean, he had about 10
2017
years.
is when the Kumble and this thing happened, right?
right.
Yeah, yeah, and they came back,
So
Shastri and Co.
in that 5-year period is the only time India has had 4-5 ready fast bowlers good to go. If you go back to the old years, it was Srinath Prasad. Then you come back a little bit, it is Ishant Zahir. That third, okay, for a brief period, Srishant was there, but Srishant also gave a lot of runs.
Right.
It's that 5-year period is where we had. I hope I'm wrong. It's not. I don't think it's a. Well, yes, it is about coach. Paras Mamre has done a fantastic job in the white ball, but I think you're
Yeah,
right. What Bharat
test
Arun has done,
matches.
test matches not so much. Also on Rahul, I would like to apologize to him because I've been very critical on his test spot. Never had an issue with him in his white ball spot. He's come back a different human being. The fact that he wicket kept in the second innings, his failure, I have no issues with it because the boy was on the ground pretty much the entire time, barring the time when we were batting, which was a few minutes.
Right.
Because
So
Kohli played well, so I have no issues there.
So his performance was phenomenal. It's unfortunate that we ended up on the losing side, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. And I think one point on before we wrap this up. So one point on Virat Kohli, like awesome to see him scoring runs in Test cricket. I think like he did a fascinating job in the one day side, but like there were a few doubts regarding his technique when he was going through a lean patch in
Hopefully,
Test cricket. Yeah.
hopefully it's his
Crossed,
year.
yeah.
Fingers
So
crossed.
So I would like, he looked really, I think if you go by the years, I think 2016 was his best year, then 2018 maybe, and I think then this year. I think like if you go by the years kind of a thing, I think this is one of his best years, like going by his stats and everything, and also the way he's playing. So I think he keeps up this free flowing form like properly. It's a treat to watch him play good. Yeah.
There's been this tip that Kohli should come back as the Test captain.
I agree. I completely agree.
But he won't,
If
man.
he comes back by himself, he won't. Yeah, that's for sure he won't. But the problem is that the guys don't understand that, you know, there's a lot of history to that fiasco, and Kohli, being Kohli, won't come back unless he's badly requested to come back. And if he does, I think it'll be somewhere before the Australia tour asking, man, come back.
I hope
Do the
so.
captaincy for five tests and just wrap it up. I mean,
what about Gill? We've not discussed him. There's a question mark over here.
It's a problem, but I think it's only been 3 test matches because he started in West Indies as a number 3. And it's the same thing with KL Rahul as well, because he's just shifted himself to the middle order, and we need to give him time because 3 innings I don't think defines him a lot. And he did play well in the second innings. I mean, 36, as the score suggests, it's not as bad as it seems. So he's probably getting into the groove. I think the England series will give him more confidence in home pitches. And then going to Australia will actually give him more and more. So
I think the issue with Gill is that he's like, I think he gets bowled a lot, being such a high talented player.
The bat and pad gap is the thing. So probably that needs to be addressed, and I'm sure Vikram Rathore is working on it already. And he's been an excellent batting coach for that team.
So overall, I think the takeaway is that like the bowling needs to step up a lot more. I think the batting did a pretty, like second innings was a pretty disappointing performance with the bat, but I think that one off maybe. But like overall 245 in the first innings was on that pitch and conditions, I think was a pretty okay kind of a score if you have proper bowling attack. So I think the bowlers need to, I think the change bowlers need to like step up their game. That's where the game was lost. And yeah, as you said, I think Ashwin or Jadeja needs to be used more, whoever like plays, or if both of them plays. I think that's where I think the change bowler duties should probably go to them rather than Shardul Thakur and the other person. So that's so this is how things are. Hopefully, like in the Newlands test, we see something good. Whoever, like if Mukesh Kumar plays or Avesh plays, whoever plays, or none of them plays. So I think we see a lot more fight from India. I think we still have the opportunity of drawing this series, and I think any test win in Sena countries is a thing to be cherished. So hopefully new year, new beginnings for Team India and everyone and all the viewers. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope you like follow us in this journey as we go along covering India games all over, like the things and everything. We will also, like in the next episode, we will also touch up a bit on the Australia-Pakistan series. Like that is also something which is going on. Like few interesting things going on over there.
Warner's last test series.
Yeah.
And the last test match in Sydney.
Yeah. So drop in your comments. What are your thoughts on this last match? What do you think India can do better? The team selections and everything. How you feel we can turn this around a bit? And yeah. So thanks for watching again. Advanced Happy New Year. Hope you all have a great year ahead. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for watching.